Hello everyone and welcome back to the COPA training session. If you recall, we completed chapter 1 and right now we will be beginning or rather starting with chapter 2. In chapter 1, we discussed and covered things like introduction to COPA, the SAP overview with respect to COPA, a basic understanding of what the purpose COPA suffice and what is the use of COPA. Then we went on and covered the structure, that is, what does operating concern refer to, the use of it, the setup of it in the system, and what are the steps to do the same. We even discussed a bit about value fields and characteristic fields. So the value fields and characteristic fields that we were just briefly discussed at the time of chapter 1 was my master data in COPA. When I talk about the master data in COPA, there can be only two important master data, and the entire reporting in COPA are based on these two master data. Those are characteristic fields and value fields. Let us go one by one to these two fields and understand what is the purpose or what is the detailing of these characteristics and value fields. As you are already aware, based on my input in the first chapter, that characteristic fields are fields like the parameters based on which I would like to have my report. When I say parameters, those are more of a fixed natured filtration or selection criteria that we look for. Let us take an example like profit center, segment, country, region, customer, sales org, purchase org, sales office, internal order, product hierarchies, customer hierarchy, material group, plant, etc. etc. So, in simple words, these will all be my parameters to access the COPA reports. SAP has three different categorizations for characteristics. Let us understand one by one what are those. The first categorization, as you see in the screen, is fixed characteristics. In case of fixed characteristics, SAP considers those characteristics when the data flows from that object to COPA object. Like for example, when we flow data from production order to COPA, or we flow data from internal order to COPA. So these are all cases where when we flow the data from one object to another object exactly at that spur of a time, there are certain fixed characteristics which are already available in the system that becomes enabled and data gets stored in COPA along with those characteristics. Again, those are quite vital with the reason that if I want to avail information or report based on those parameters like the internal order, the process order, production order, etc., then I can do so provided I have these fixed characteristics available. And fixed characteristics will always be available in a system. The second type of characteristics are the predefined characteristics. Now, what are predefined characteristics? SAP assumes and has given certain sets of characteristics already beforehand to the users, or you can say to the organizations. Now, these are the ones that can be used straight up, and we don't have to create something new for our reporting requirement. Again, these are different from fixed because of a simple reason that in case of fixed characteristics, you don't have to assign them to your operating concern. But predefined characteristics will only start working when you assign them to your operating concern. Okay, there is a third category of characteristics. What are those? Those are the ones which gets created by the customer. So when we go into the system and create certain characteristics to have our reporting requirement catered, those characteristics are called customer created characteristics. Mainly these three covers the entire characteristics in SAP. And if you ask me about the volume of custom characteristics that we have to prepare, it completely depends upon the level of reporting we are looking at. If obviously any parameters or selection data is not available which we are eyeing upon, then we need to go to the characteristics. Like for example, while posting any kind of invoice, do activate in certain cases the reference key fields. Do punch in the data in reference key fields. It can be the billing number, it can be some other information based on needs. Now, if on any given day I want those data to be in COPA with those reference key field numbers, obviously I have to create characteristics in COPA first of all. Similarly, let us take an example that there are around 100 line items which are there in WBS. Okay, I have created a single WBS and have kept 100 line items over there. Now I want to bring them to COPA along with those I want to bring those costs to COPA along with certain information, certain specific information, like I require in COPA to report those exact data informations based on area, or based on location, or based on state, which are regions basically. So let me eliminate the state part because the state is a standard function, but based on say location, based on say area. So in that case I need to create them as characteristics because those are not straight away available in the system. There can be many further examples like that, which will always be dependent on client to client. Like again, if you are going into a steel industry, obviously the requirement will be completely different in terms of characteristics. They would like to have their materials in different quantity measure. I mean, they probably sell their say we are talking about pipes. So when they manufacture, they might manufacture in terms of tons as a unit of measure, but when they are going to sell it, they are going to sell it in terms of meter square feet. And besides that, those meter square feet will only come into picture when we coat the pipes. So whether a particular material is coated or not coated, if I want this information to be flown in COPA, obviously I have to create characteristics. Similarly, let us come to some other industries like say construction companies. Now they will have, or infrastructure companies, now they will have for sure different kinds of construction. There can be hybrid, there can be low towers, there can be economic towers, based on the scale of construction. Now obviously these information I am not or might not be tracking in a particular manner. So when we are bringing the data to COPA, and if we want this data to flow in COPA, we need to create them as characteristics in COPA. Okay, now let us go to the value fields. Again, we had a brief discussion on value fields also last time, and just taking it forward from there. Value fields are nothing but the fields which will provide you the information. That means the information that we are looking from COPA, or the information which we are looking in a report, are the value fields, the line items of the information. When we talk about value fields, there are again two different categories of value fields. One refers to the predefined value fields which are already provided by SAP, and second refers to the value fields which we can create, that means the custom value fields. The predefined value fields are mostly the ones which are you can say header level items, like the revenue, the cost of goods sold, the revenue quantity, the raw material consumption cost, the variance, things like this. Whereas when we come to the custom developed value fields, it can be too many. Why it can be too many? It can be too many because, number one, we, if require a complete detail level information, then for sure we need to have so many value fields to cater our information requirements, right? Now say discount provided to our customer, say the marketing cost that has incurred, say the sales promotion cost that has incurred, say the tax payments that has been done by customer, that is indirect tax payments, say the packaging cost that has been incurred. All these are something which, if I want to know in detail, for sure I need to create them as my separate value fields. Okay, there is a significant important part, that is It's not that the value fields and characteristics will only be flowing from SD module. Yes, SD module in general provides the huge chunk of information, but it's not that they are the only modules which can flow the data. For that case, even FI, even even production planning, even project systems, they can also flow the data, and we will take it up that in what scenario, in what cases, which of the module will be flowing what kind of data to COPA. For the time being, just to focus on the value fields, the examples which I put across are the kinds of value fields that we can approach and create. Again, just to mention and add up, like the way I was talking about the steel industry, and I was saying that there are two different quantity measures that they look for. If I need to put across the data in COPA, for sure I would be looking to maintain both the quantity measures, right? Because from one quantity measure I am doing the production, and from another I am doing the sale. So as a COPA reporting, I would be required to have both the data available. I don't know whether you all noticed or not, but the important thing which also should be considered in value fields are that the value fields can be quantity based or can be value based. When I say quantity based or value based, I refer to quantity or amount. That means I can put across any information or line item which has amount related data, or and create it as value field in COPA, or I can even put across any line item which has quantity relevant data, and those can be created in COPA also. The basic reason behind this is because most of the time, if I am aware of revenue but I am not aware of that the particular revenue has been accumulated after selling this much unit of quantity, then somewhere down the line my profitability is not detailed out. I mean, even whatever profit we try to capture at the end, we can find those profits at a per unit level if I have my sales quantity or if I have my production quantities and all. So that's why from an analytical perspective it becomes prior important and even a client's requirement to have quantities also in COPA. Let's go now and see in the system how does this characteristics and value fields work, gets created and becomes a part of my data structure. Okay, when I talk about data structure, that means the data structure in operating concern. If you recall, that we discussed during our first chapter, while talking about the operating concern, we discussed the entire thing. So if you recall them, you will understand what exact data structure I am talking about. Anyhow, right now we will go through the entire things in SAP and find it out by our own. Okay, then let's straight away go to the system. I'm going to again in the SPRO IMG screen, and that is where we are going to work for coming few hours. Reason being that before customization I cannot go and start with the postings and scenario mappings. So let us go to controlling, profitability analysis. Yes, you read it right. The structure and the same node which we were discussing in chapter 1, but the only difference is now we will not go to maintain operating concern, but rather we will go to maintain characteristics. Now if you see, there are three important distinctions which is provided in the screen. That is all characteristics, characteristics from operating concern, and characteristics that are not used in operating concern. When I will use the first option to display, that is all characteristics, system will provide me the data for the entire characteristics. That means whatever characteristics I have created in the system plus all the predefined characteristics. Do understand, this doesn't cover the fixed characteristics. Fixed characteristics only becomes active or gets enabled when we are actually flowing the data. So as I have already told that we don't have to even assign them to operating concern, nor do we have to create them. Those are already there and gets used whenever we are flowing the data to COPA for our operating concern. Apart from those fixed characteristics, all other characteristics will be displayed under the first option. Let's go and check few of it. As you can see, the characteristics has a coding which is reflected first, and then the text and its data length, I mean whether it's character or numeric, its length, what is the width of the line item, and there are certain tables which are being associated with them. If you see all these characteristics, these are all predefined SAP provided characteristics made by department, order reasons, customer hierarchy, form of manufacture, marketing elements, area. All these are standard ones. Let us check what are the ones which we gonna use in our common parlance. Department can be used to extent, industry can be used, sales district are usable, cost centers are used a lot, purchase org for sure. Then if you are into aerospace industry, then aircraft types or flight numbers and flight types, these can be used. Brands can be highly used because of the reason that if you are into consumer CBG or the consumer product group, then brand becomes highly important. Customer hierarchy is something which always gets used to identify the sections or rather subsections for a customer. Customer group, country, material group, sales office, sales group, sales employee, ship to party, then country, then let us come down, product hierarchy 1 2 3, region, segments. That's all, more or less. This is the entire list which are often, or I will say are used in regular terms. Rest again, if required or is necessary or is needed, then for sure we can use. Apart from this, we do use or create lot of custom characteristics, customized characteristics for our requirements. I mean, when I say our requirements, that means when the standards doesn't provide the information, then we do create these kind of things to have the data access. Now, what can be these? These can be the parameters of categories which I want to create to access those data, as I have repeatedly told that, isn't it? Let us now go and see how can I create few of the informations in the system. Okay, let's go to the second option, and I will quickly make you see the data again. Now the data which is getting displayed are exactly the ones which have been extended to my operating concern. If there are certain data which are not extended to my operating concern, those will not appear in this option. Let's go to the third one. This will depict the data which are created but not assigned to our operating concern. I repeat, which are created or are predefined provided by SAP but are not assigned to our operating concern. So far so good. Now we will go ahead and create a characteristics in the system. Let's say I want to create a characteristics to track my activities for cost. When I say activities for cost, it's like I have decided that my cost can be or say, let us make it more simple. I want to track my activities based on the sub area. By sub area I mean that within my own complete campus of office, I have distributed several sub areas based on the points, and now I want to track what is the cost and what is the revenue that is flowing along with the sub area, so that I can have a reporting at sub area level. Okay, now if I want to do so, the first very important thing I have to do is I have to create the characteristics. So say I am putting up sub area. Let us create that. System gives a caution because we are trying to create things under cross client level. That means whatever we are creating in this particular client will impact all the clients or will update all the clients within the same system. Okay, now the interesting thing which you will notice is the moment you try to create it, system straight away says that you cannot do any permutation and combination for your custom characters. Your custom characteristic should always begin with WW. So that means I cannot use any random character. I need to start the character with WW. Let us go ahead and try and put SUB area. Okay, now let us again create. The second important thing which system will throw is that you cannot have character more than 4 to 5 fields long. So the maximum is 5 fields, the minimum is 4 fields. Okay, so in that case let us come down to 002 because that will sum up to 5. Now let us try and create it, and here you go, you have successfully entered the screen. Now since we are creating it for our own, that is, it's a custom creation, we will go to user defined, and With this character we can mention over here the definition as sub area. Just click on this button and you are into the screen where you are going to create the character. So I need to repeat the name, basically short and headings. I need to mention the data length as I was saying, and let me make it 10. Apart from this, I don't have to punch in anything. I have to straight away go and save this data. When the system will ask you that how you want to generate the table, always say automatically. System takes a bit of time in generation if you are doing it for the first time. Once you are done for the first time, system becomes a bit faster and quicker. Once I save it, what you will find is a data element domain and table names with fields have appeared in the screen. These tables are the COPA tables that will now store the data for my sub area with the given data elements and domain. But this is not just the end. Since we have created it, even we have to activate it. So this is the activation button, and we need to activate our characteristics by executing this. Once it gets activated, the status gets changed to active. If you notice the status over here, it gets changed to active. Once these two activities are done, we have successfully created our characteristics. Let's go quickly and see the characteristics over here. If we have successfully created, it should display. And if you see, WW002 sub area is displaying with the required char, data types and lengths, everything. Okay, so far so good. Now what we are going to do is we are going to go inside the operating concern. Our operating concern is idea, so we are going to mention it, and we are going to edit it out this time. So this is the edit button which we are going to place. System will again inform us that this is a cross client activity and just be cautious, so we will take that. And if you notice, the display option turns to change option in data structure. So let us go to the change option. Now if you see towards the this side, which is the left hand side of mine, you will find that there are certain data structure which are mentioned as characteristics in blue. That means these are already available for my operating concern. At the same time, there are few which are placed over here in black. That means those are the ones which are right now not assigned to my data structure. Let us go and even see if we have WW002. Yes, if you see, WW002 is also available in the right hand side, and we can easily pass it to our characteristics for the operating concern. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select it the way I have selected it from here. Press this button, which is the transfer field, and the data will get passed from there to here. How to know that? You will see that the particular item will turn blue towards the right hand side, and will start appearing in our left hand side as black in color. That means yes, we have transferred the data, but still we need to do certain activities. What are those? We need to save and activate them. Let us go and do it. Let us first activate them. There would be certain abbreviation issues that might come up. Ignore them and save, come activate them. Do remember, whenever I am doing this activity, I am even changing the environment of operating concern. So I always need to regenerate the environment of operating concern after doing this activity. It will always be online. Keep it as online to execute in front of you, or you can push it to backend to get it executed faster if there are huge number of entries. I am keeping it online so that you can see it and understand them. For sure it takes a bit of time, because we are right now working with the structure, which is a very vital structure in SAP. So system takes a bit of time, and since all these have a lot of implication in the backend, system is doing a lot of exercise at the backend to ensure this. So the object is activated, and if you see, the object is also blue towards the left hand side too. Here it goes. Once this is done, let's come out, and the moment I come out, system will ask, do you wish to generate? And the response should be yes. So system will regenerate the operating concern along with this new characteristics. This is somewhere, it might take even 5 to 7 minutes of use for the first time, since I am using it in my case from past. So it could take a bit of lesser time, say 1-2 minutes for us, but don't be I will say don't be tensed if in your system you're doing it for the first time and it takes around 5 to 7 minutes. I'm still here, and as you all are, I'm also waiting to get this generation done. Probably seems like it is done. Guys, probably few more minutes, and I was expecting that it would be faster, but even it's taking time in my case. But it's good that even you're going through this particular thing, because this will make you comfortable when you are actually doing it in your own systems and you're finding that it's taking time. Because at the back of your mind you will always be aware that in the training session also it took a bit of time to get that activated or rather regenerated. Don't think of grabbing a coffees in between. Might be that by the time you are back with the coffee, it is done. So basically, once this is done, it will conclude our chapter 2, which was basically on characteristics. After this, I will take you through the value fields. I need a bit of more time to devote on value fields, although the data structure for value fields would be same, but I would like to take you through some of the examples of value fields to give you a more bit of an in-depth idea on how those value fields would be created, what would be the concept and rationales behind the value fields, and last but not the least, how those value fields would be again added to the data structure of my operating concern, the way we are doing it for characteristics over here. I believe this is the last one, and now we should be getting the confirmation of this regeneration getting done. So at 66% completed, so probably just 33% more is left. And if you can keep checking that compilation option which rolls up right at the end, you will find system is doing always some or the other thing in the back end. So it's not exactly just a vanilla way. It's like system does do a lot of exercise in the back end the moment we say one yes to the system. and here you go, the environment was generated. So that's it, we are done with the generation. Now if I just make it to display and go back to the data structure, I will be able to see my characteristics, which is over here. That means now the characteristics which I created independently or like as an item is now a part of my own operating concern, and as a result now I can use this for my reporting, I can use this for my data access. Let us conclude our characteristic sessions over here, and we will continue with value fields in the next subchapter. So we have done with 2.1, which is characteristics, and we will continue with 2.2, that is for values. So see you in the next chapter. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.